Have you ever felt completely lost trying to trade? You're looking at the charts and it just feels like chaos? Well, you are not alone. Today, we're diving into an incredible story about one trader's journey from being totally confused and worried to becoming a confident pro. Let's jump right in. Wow, just listen to that. Until yesterday, I was very worried. That's a heavy statement, right? I mean, if you've ever traded, you know that feeling. It's that pit in your stomach, the constant anxiety that you're about to make a huge mistake. And that's exactly where this student's story begins. So what happened? What flipped the switch for him? It wasn't some get-rich-quick scheme or a lucky guess. No, it was a real shift, a combination of finding the right mentor, the right community, and, well, a really powerful tool that completely changed the game. But before we get to the good stuff, you gotta understand where he was coming from. To really appreciate the after, we need to look at the before. And believe me, it was a struggle. And I bet a lot of this is gonna sound familiar. First off, he had no real understanding of which way the market was heading. He was also totally confused about this whole smart money versus retail traders thing. The big institutions versus, well, people like us. All this confusion just led to weak trades, one after another. And to top it all off, he was just drowning in conflicting advice from every direction. So when you're that overwhelmed with information, what do? He realized pretty quickly he couldn't do it alone. He needed a guide, someone who could cut through all that noise and show him a clear path. And that's when his search for a real mentor began. And you know where he found this mentor? Not in some flashy, expensive ad. Nope. He found him on YouTube, of all places. He'd been watching Abdul Rehman Awan's free videos, and over time, he just saw this genuine sincerity, this honesty, and that's what built the trust. And this quote from him really says it all. He said he found a very honest, very sincere teacher who teaches with great effort. You see, it wasn't about flashy promises. It was about finding someone who actually cared, someone who was really invested in helping him succeed. And that was the moment he decided, okay, I'm joining the market profile course. So he signed up, but, and this is a really important part of the story, it wasn't some magic pill. It wasn't an instant fix. The journey to really getting it, well, that had its own set of challenges. Honestly, when he first started, the material just seemed way too difficult. He was right on the edge of giving up. But here's the key, the support system. It was a total game changer. He had direct help from his mentor and a really active WhatsApp group with other students. And with that help, in about a month and a half, suddenly the light bulb went on. It all started to click. And when it clicked, wow, the results were absolutely transformative. We're not just talking about learning a new strategy. This was like getting a whole new pair of glasses to see the market in a completely different way. You can just hear the astonishment in his voice when he says this. He calls Market Profile a magical tool. And for him, it was. It's a technique that basically shows you where the real action is happening in the market. For the very first time, all those chaotic movements started to make sense. He could finally see the logic behind it all. I mean, just look at this transformation. It is night and day. He went from being completely confused by market moves to actually knowing the next move before it happened. He went from making weak, hopeful trades to identifying solid, high-quality opportunities. The bottom line, he went from a worried, uncertain amateur to a confident professional trader. And if you want proof, how about this number? An 80 to 90% accuracy rate in understanding the market's moves. I mean, just think about that. That is absolutely incredible. That's the kind of thing that turns trading from a stressful gamble into a legitimate profession. So how does he keep this up? It's all about a solid daily routine. Every single morning between 8 and 9 a.m., he gets a detailed market analysis. This lets him fine-tune his own ideas, correct any little mistakes, and most importantly, spot the big opportunities for the London and New York sessions before the day even really kicks off. Okay, get this. This part is just mind-blowing. He got access to a library of 1,200 voice note replies from his mentor. 1,200! And these weren't just quick yes or no answers. Some of them were 5, 15, even 20 minutes long, just packed with detailed explanations. Can you imagine the confidence boost from having that kind of resource? So, after going through all of this, from rock bottom to the top of his game, he's got a pretty clear message for anyone else out there who's feeling stuck. And his advice is super practical. He says, look, just start with the free stuff on YouTube. See if it clicks for you. If it makes sense and you feel that connection, then and only then,
think about joining the private group for the more advanced training. He also says you can find the mentor, Abdul Rehman Awan, or the MP Professional page on Facebook to connect. Look, this whole story just proves that this kind of transformation is absolutely possible. It takes work, it takes the right guidance, but it can be done. So the real question to leave you with is, where will your trading journey go from here?